Hello. I just went and saw, I mean, you can barely kind of see this, but I went and saw Spider Man Brand New Day. Apparently, Regal was giving out Spider Man pins for some reason. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of didn't want to see this movie. So, I personally don't really give a shit about Spider Man. He's just never a superhero that I've really cared about or cared for. I've seen all the Tom Holland Spider Man movies just because, like, I was really, really into the MCU in, like, middle school and high school. And then I sort of lost interest in it after I graduated high school at the same time as Avengers Endgame came out, and it felt like, I don't know, this is so stupid to say, but it felt like I was sort of graduating with the MCU. Like, it felt like the MCU was over for me in that sense. Like, I graduated high school, it was a good way to wrap up, like, the OG Avengers and stuff like that, and then they just kept bringing them back. I will state, I have not seen a trailer for Doomsday. I will see Doomsday. I honestly like am not that excited for it. And that's how I felt about this one too, is that I was just like, I mean, I'll see it, but like I honestly like I woke up this morning and I was just like I kind of don't really feel like leaving the house. Like maybe I just won't go and see it. And I was like, no, I should go and see it. Like I should at least just go and watch it and stuff like that. And it was fun. It was pleasantly surprising. I think I liked No Way Home the most, and I think that's just cuz I liked the Spider-Verse iteration within that. It was just really fun to watch, but I was like pleasantly surprised. This movie was fun. It was funny. It was too fucking goddamn long though, cuz the supposedly the movie started at 10, and I don't know like how I'd say like 30 minutes of trailers, and then I got out at 1. So I'm like, this is a 2.5 fucking hour long movie. And I know that Marvel movies are usually that long now, and I'm just like, my brain, I'm only here for horror movies now, so anything longer than 2 hours, I'm like, man, fuck my life. Except for the Odyssey. I will never complain about those 3 hours. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. It seemed like it was okay. I think is how I would iterate it. Like I thought I was gonna hate it, and I didn't. But is it an amazing movie? Not really. Is that just because I personally don't really care for Peter Parker and Spider Man? Maybe. But like, I don't know. I mean I liked bits here and there. I am glad of the like 1.5 seasons of Daredevil that I attempted to watch, so I actually kind of know who Frank Castle is. Cause that's okay. I'm gonna go on a very outspoken tangent right now, and I'm a bit of a hypocrite for saying it. But I don't like that Marvel sort of relies on you having seen the shows to understand the movies. It's better in this one, but it was like a key aspect of Multiverse of Madness. And I know a lot of people really liked WandaVision. I did not. I did not care for WandaVision. I thought that show was low key kind of boring. And so I just it's not as bad as in Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's like you could get away with having not seen Daredevil. You could easily get away with not having seen like anything that, oh, what the fuck is her name? But Florence Pugh's character. It's gonna bother me, but I don't remember what her fucking name is. But like, you could get away with like not having seen any of the stuff that they've been in, and like I don't think you would be thoroughly confused. You'd be like, why does Frank Castle have so many issues? Which I thought was a really funny comment when like Jean Grey like possesses him, and then she just go, damn, this guy's got issues. Like, yep, yes he does, yes he does. But like I don't think it's like you need the context in this one, and I think they sort of learned possibly but from Multiverse of Madness, because I want to say, like, if I'm thinking back to Thunderbolts, you didn't, like, you needed Black Widow context for Yelena, that's her name, for Yelena, but I don't think you really needed. Oh my god, there's so many fucking shows, and I'm blanking on all of them. I actually like this show. What the fuck is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Like, I don't think you need the Falcon and the Winter Soldier context to understand Bucky in Thunderbolts. But I don't know. I guess it just kind of depends on the Marvel movie, because you did sort of need Falcon and the Winter Soldier context to understand Captain America Brave New World, because that's like what the entire plot of Falcon and the Winter Soldier is about a black man becoming Captain America. So, like, that one you needed context for. I guess it sort of depends on the movie. I have still not seen the newest Fantastic Four movie. I looked at it on Disney Plus literally like 2 days before my Disney Plus subscription like disappeared and just went, nah. So I still haven't seen it. I should watch it before Doomsday. That is a goal. I will attempt to watch it before Doomsday. But moving back to Spider-Man, but like you don't need the context for this one. So I did appreciate it for that because I wasn't gonna watch Daredevil, and then I saw that Frank Castle was in this movie, and I was like, okay, well now I feel like I have to watch like Daredevil and Punisher, whenever all the other fucking movies those are, and then I sort of gave up. I was like, this is a lot of effort, and I don't have the time or energy for that. And then it turns out you didn't really even need to put the effort into that anyways. So like I'm grateful for that. Like I wasn't confused. But like I like this movie in terms of its story plot. I liked it that it has a very similar story to Thunderbolts in the fact that it has like who you think the villain is not actually the real villain. Like it's some corrupted government agency that's, you know, what's the word? Oh my god, I feel like I had a stroke after watching this movie. What the fuck is my brain doing? But like it's a like a corrupted government agency essentially weaponizing somebody with powers to sort of get what they want or whatever, or figure something out. Like I clocked the second I saw that man, though I'm blanking on his name, but like the guy who's in charge of damage control, like I clocked immediately when, like, you know, he tells Peter, he's like, well, I can't tell you everything, and I was like, he's gonna be the actual fucking bad guy, like the whoever the shady person is, like that's not the real bad guy, it's gonna be this dude. And I clocked it within 2 seconds, and it was like the most unsatisfying ending to that, where they sort of like I knew they had to do some form of legal thing, but offhandedly they're like, and the cops are taking care of it, and I'm like, okay, like I wish it had more of an impact than that, but oh well, whatever. Like I know that's not what it's going for, where it's just like it wants to, you know, hone on Jean Grey, which I thought was a very, I was not expecting Jean Grey. I thought it was a very interesting way to introduce and I don't think it's the first time it's introduced mutants and stuff like that into the MCU, because I want to say that, oh my god, that Quicksilver in WandaVision is supposed to be the Peter Maximoff that we know from the X-Men. I could be entirely fucking wrong on that, though. But, like, you know, this seems like a more straightforward, like, this is the Jean Grey that we know, and this is her version in the MCU. And so I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Like it's an interesting introduction. Like I wasn't expecting it, but I like it. It's a form of Jean Grey that I feel like we've never really seen before. Like I loved the hopping between minds thing. That was fucking cool. Like it was creepy and it was cool, and I really really liked it. And like I liked that storyline where it's just like, you know, all she wants is her sister back, and then you find out that her sister's dead. Like obviously obviously, like it's a very predictable movie. Like I clocked who the bad guy was going to be. I was like, her sister's probably dead. Like we know that, you know, the guy in charge of damage control is the person who probably killed her sister. It's a bit of a complaint. Like part of I feel like Peter's character development like went from A to B in like that in a really weird way, because he spends the whole point of the movie essentially being like a sad lonely guy. Like he's so stuck in the past. And I thought it was interesting, like the way that he interacted with MJ after she found the letter, because he's like, okay, you don't remember who I am, but we can start in a new foot, like maybe not love each other but develop this friendship. Like I loved the scene where they were like him, MJ, and Ned were all sitting together, and like Ned was asking Peter questions about Spider-Man and like what could do certain things while they're like building the Lego X-Wing, which I literally have like on my shelf right there. So I was like, oh, it's the Lego X-Wing, but like building the Lego X-Wing together. And it's just like, that's cool. That's like a fun, like nerdy thing. They're acting like nerds. They're quoting Lord of the Rings. Like it was really fun and really cute. And I liked that. I wish that there was a little bit more of sort of a sense and direction that Peter can move on. Like, he doesn't. And I think he's learning that a little bit, but it's like he doesn't have to stay stuck in the past. Like, he can move on. He can make new friends. I guess through Frank. Frank was the best part of this movie. I'm just gonna say I fucking love that guy. But like through Frank, but through other people, it's like you don't have to like I was kind of hoping that like the neighbor who like noticed that they lived on the same floor together, that like they could develop some kind of friendship, and it's like he can learn to move on a little bit, because clearly he's been like stuck as himself since a senior in high school, which means he's been, I mean, they graduated, but like it's like 4 years since all of this occurred. And so like it's a little crazy in that sense. And yeah, I don't know, it's a weird thing that I noticed. And then I don't know the thought, and then it reminded me of a thing that was bothering me for a bit. I wouldn't say it's bothering me, but I like looked at it and I couldn't believe it. This is a random side tangent. So they do several shots of Aunt May's tombstone, and I know that they're more focusing on the quote on her tombstone. I got very distracted by the years. So it's 1964 to 2024, and I just thought of a thing that's, if I'm thinking correctly, is no, just kidding, that's a lie. I'll ignore it for now. I thought that they were off by a year because it jumped 5 years, and then I remembered that it wouldn't have taken place in 2025. It would in fact have taken place in 2024. So she did die in 2024. So that's not the issue here. But the issue here is that I look at Aunt May and I'm like, there's no fucking way in hell that one was 60 years old. I mean, she looked damn good for a 60-year-old. I was like, damn. I was so distracted by it in the last scene. I was like, she was 60, and I guess like she blipped, so in a way she was probably like 55, but I was like, damn, she looks fucking good. I'm getting so sidetracked right now with random things, but it's just like it was an interesting movie. Like, it was fine, it was okay. Like I said, I expected to hate it, and I didn't. It was real entertaining. There were a group, okay, I will say, I was partially distracted by a group of 3 people in front of me who were clearly, obviously, like, giant Spider-Man fans, and they were losing their fucking minds, like, every 2 seconds. Like, when MJ kisses Spider-Man, like, even though she's possessed by Jean Grey, those 3 people in front were like, oh my god! And I was like, wow, these people are so invested in this movie, and I'm just sitting here like, it's getting a little long. Like, it's, yeah, I mean, like, I expect an MCU movie to be long, but sometimes they don't need to be that long, and this is definitely an example of that, where there's flipping. Oh, I was talking about Peter's character development. Yeah, so we have his personal character development with his friends and stuff like that, and I wish how they had like done a better job about telling him that he could move on and no longer be stuck in the past. But then there's also the thing about his powers, and he's evolving, and the fucking the scene where like he presses into his wrist and the like silk fluid starts leaking out, and I was just like, oh, that's fucking gross. And then of course Peter's like, and I was like, yep, we're on the same page, that's disgusting. And it also looked really fake, but like that was interesting. But the thing about that is that, you know, he spends a good majority of the movie trying to suppress that. He's like, you know, I'm turning into some kind of monster, I don't like it. And then, you know, Jean Grey's like, are you Spider-Man or are you Peter Parker? And then he does the whole thing where he's like, I'm both. And I was like, okay, this is badass and all, but like, you have spent this entire movie struggling how to like control your newfound powers, and then all of a sudden you can like fix it like that. I call bullshit. Like, I guess that it's like, I get why they do it. Like, it's, you know, you gotta have this super badass climax where, you know, he comes into his new powers and he can kick ass and stuff like that, and, you know, create some damage without fully causing any permanent damage to anyone. But like, it was just, I don't know, like, I watched that scene and I was like, you've been struggling so much to control your newfound powers. I find it incredibly hard to believe that all of a sudden you're able to just like control them like that. Like, I found it very unrealistic. Unrealistic. It's a fucking superhero movie, but like unrealistic within the universe itself and stuff like that. I don't know. It seemed unnecessary. I wouldn't say unnecessary, but it's just like I don't know. Not getting the Spider-Man training montage, especially with MCU's version of Spider-Man, is that he's always had his powers. Like he doesn't, because we've seen the origin story. We don't need it again. But it's interesting. I do know that there were jokes going around when the trailer dropped about how, like in the previous movie, they were sort of giving Tobey Maguire shit for being able to produce his own webs, and now Peter Parker in the MCU can do it, which I thought was really funny. But yeah, that was just interesting. And then Frank, shooting Spider-Man. He can get emotional. Who knew? Frank Castle can get sad and care about somebody else. Well, we already knew he could care about somebody else. He literally went on a murderous rampage about it in Daredevil. But yeah, I mean, it was a fine movie. It was just like I said, like I low-key didn't want to see it. And I'm like, I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm glad that I saw it, but like, I know I'll have bigger context for other things. Like, I'm sure he'll show up in Doomsday. Like I said, I haven't seen a trailer for Doomsday, and I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm avoiding a trailer for it. Like, if a trailer comes, like, if I go and see a movie in a theater and I see a trailer for it, I'm not gonna throw a bitch fit about it, but like, I don't go out of my way to watch trailers. Like, I'm just not one of those people. But like, if a trailer just falls on my lap through the internet, I will watch it. But I'm just like, I'm not gonna Google Avengers Doomsday trailer, especially because, like, I don't know, I'm not that intrigued. I know that it's Captain America's in Doomsday for some fucking reason. I don't know. I stopped paying attention. I was like, I will see this movie. I'm not seeing Avengers Endgame when they re-release it in theaters, because I think it's kind of bullshit that they have to retcon their own previous fucking movie to make Doomsday make sense. I think that's bullshit. So, I'll watch it. But that's sort of my stance with this one. I was like, I'll watch it. But like, if you're gonna make me go through bullshit hoops so that I can watch it, like watching all these shows, I'm not gonna be fucking happy about it. So, but yeah, overall, it was a fun movie. I don't know. I probably wouldn't see it again. Like, it was funny, so I liked that. But yeah, I'm very sorry for this all over the place review. Like, I was expecting to have more of a coherent review, and then I just didn't. Like, it's crazy all over the place and so many tangents. I apologize. I don't know what the hell happened. So, yeah. But let me know if you have seen Spider-Man Brand New Day and what you thought of it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Bye-bye.